Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Public Test Branch, first one of the new year. We are here on the PTB, trying out some new changes, tunings, tweaks, etc. Team 1 in the blue trunks representing ANS consists of Microsoft Edgelord, 2-Stack, Bell, and Tasty Thropedos Cookies. Next, we have got Team 2 in the orange trunks, OSP. We've got Can, Turbo, Corbo, and Pyrope. All right, Yukon is the map of choice here today. As you see, there's natural points, the B and D points for the orange and blue teams here. You see these kind of 3 points more or less in line, C, A, and E. These are going to be fought over. Usually see some underside poke from the blue team towards E point side. Overside, we're going to see orange team poke towards C side. Then the A point is a shooting gallery as always. Yippee! Let me just make sure that I've got my OBS settings put up right. Want to make sure I'm not accidentally changing around too many things here. Let's see. All right. I think everything is good here. Just going to make sure I don't accidentally get too much of this cut off. Let's just crop that a little bit. There we go. I'll prevent that chat box from covering the whole screen. All right, let's do this then, shall we? Yeah, getting ready in on the drop here, as it were. Okay, Bell, you gave the ship girl heterochromia. Can you give the ship girl heterochromia? Interesting. I'm not sure what Bell is drawing, but apparently we got some more fan art coming for something or other. Oh boy. Right, 30 seconds to go on the drop. Tasty is figuring out their stuff. We've got orange team kind of figuring out theirs as well. Looks like Pyrope is running a container liner or a carrier across top of the map. Over here, we're going to see, looks like 2-Stack. 2-Stack's brought out Task Force Ash. That's going to be a fun one. 2-Stack the Deceiver living up to their name. I'll show you what that is exactly. Ship go with homophobia. No, it's heterochromia, silly. People get that mixed up all the time. It's hilarious. They see like cats with different colored eyes tagged as that. All right, on the deploy screen, what do we see? Broadside 450 liner here. Very nice. T20 secondaries, I believe. Yep, this. All right, looks pretty good here. Liking the white and gold, or is it blue and black? You decide in the comments. All right, since we looked at this first, we're going to take a pick here. This is going to be Turbo's fleet coming in, the Ergo, as this were. Yep, remember this plotting center, all the jazz here. All right, that is going to be a 450 liner paired up here. They're going to have themselves a Bloodhound Tug. This thing, yep, double track correlators. Pretty standard stuff all around. Rapid locker here. Looks good to me. They're going to have 1 and 2 naked cappers, just probably going onto their cap points of choice A and E by the looks of it, right? Yep, just these are dirt cheap empty cappers. They are sun drive, so they get there a little bit quicker. But yeah, that's just the cheap checkbox. Good way to get there. 450 line ship, good stuff. All right, Pyrope is coming in. Ooh, it is the carrier variant. All right, I was wondering if it would be containers or carrier. This thing has a bunch of deck gear lockers, basic CICs, has a damage control complex. All right, bridge master radar and such. Let's check your flight deck. What do you got? A blade of foam High-Co bombers. All right, yeah, these things are gonna take an SDM2 hit, and that's good stuff. 35 mil on the nose guns for these, so paying a little bit extra premium. A couple of these scouts with EO targeting ball. All right, so pretty good fighter count here. Yep, it's a healthy bank count, and then a lot of bombers. That is going to be, let's see, that would be 12 there plus 8, so that's going to be 20 bombers here. All right, good stuff, 3K. Corbo comes in with, looks like a, ooh, this is interesting. It's a half monitor ball, so... Okay, interesting. Notes has mismatched eye things. That's kind of cool. All right, these are going to be 100 mil on the top, plasma on the bottom, and what's that? C90 on the nose. Yep, okay. And then this is going to be accompanied by, looks like, dispersed multi-mission tugs? Early warn tug, okay. So 2 MMTs, 3 monitors. Interesting kind of mixed fleet there. All right. Early warn will keep things honest up top. We're going to see some fishing missiles sent towards the natural point here. Lastly, we're going to see Can coming in with, looks like, rocket shuttle with shaft box. I want to say that they've got rocket shuttle here as well. Come on, PVs, lock in. Let's see what you got. Those cowbell missiles are going to stage and clonk. And it survives. Yep, that'll do it. What the hell, right? Like, 3 size 2 hybrid hits, shuttle lives. Explain it. It's okay. Just cool. Brilliant stuff. 3rd rocket shuttle over here, because you more natural fishing cowbell missiles here. These either have weird warhead or that's just a size 2 hybrid moment. Okay. Lastly, we're going to see a Torpcello here. This is this one of the new starter fleets? I think it's I think there was a torp cell in the starter fleets. This might be it. Yeah, strike planning, good stuff in here. Radio amplifiers. All right, it's a little bit slow because it doesn't have a stun drive or whiplash, but still, that's kind of scary. All right, that's OSP stuff done. Here's the state of the board right now. We're gonna see some fighters come up here. Yep, fighters very effective against light ships. Let's see how effective they are. Actually, ooh, okay, maybe a flick fire. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. Potentially, this might be the new changes shown. So normally Piranha rockets would just remove that ship from existence. In this case, because they got like 6 times more inaccurate on the test branch, this Corvette actually survives. Loses the CIC, which is a bit of a problem. Can't fight back anymore, but still survives to get the cap and then wander off. That's pretty good compared to previous times. Let's see who's running what. Bell coming in here with the double 450 on these. Axford's pretty common stuff. 450. Greedford's setup has that secondary 120 mil batteries. Yep, just good kit. Backpack, E70, interrupt jammer, and then a VLS-2, a couple active decoys, and some killjoys. Yep, all looks pretty standard. Ooh, frontline radars. Not sure about that one on this. That's, okay, you do have parallax. That's a little bit of a cheapening there. Here's a beam out from Tasty covering the A point. Not before it gets capped, unfortunately. Damn. That's going to... oh, Bell. No, Bell. Ammunition error. They forgot to bring 120 RPF. Ooh, critical error. That happens to the best of us. All right. Tasty coming in here. We'll go to the cap fleet first. Yeah, Tasty gets a little bit shot up here. Does take a hit to the drive section from, I think that was a 450 off of turbo. That's a pretty far shot, but they did land some of them. Anyways, Tasty coming in with, looks like 1 beam destroyer covering the A point. One of them covers the B point here. We got a double coverage on the B side. Okay, interesting. What is up top covering C side? Not much of anything there. All right. You're going to see they have got themselves a pair going towards the back line. So VLS-2, Blanket, and Bullseye. And then this one's got a Shaft Launcher and Pinard. These are not detected. They are going above the early warn. And that Pinard is going to light this thing up like a Christmas tree. They will see this and be able to strike. So they've got their capper that survived the C point. They've got their capper that is waiting in reserves down here. Another one that is waiting in reserves kind of towards the top of the map. This one's orbit dodging up here, trying to just basically keep this stuff occupied. Crusader flight attempting a shot there, but 100 mil is not finding purchase. I think that they might be outside of their lock range. Yeah, they need to get closer because this ship is not locked up right now. These bombers are just going to waste their entire ammo payload firing standoff like that. So once again, the Corvette's lasting a lot longer than you'd expect. On live branch, these things would be super dead. All right, that's going to be the Corvettes there. So 3 destroyers and then a bunch of Corvettes with tech towards backline dive. Edge is going to come in here with your good old missile brick, the GAT in the back. We've seen this fleet before on the channel. VLS 3s and 2s here. A couple of those cowbell missiles and then some Thunderstrucks as well. Nice stuff. And lastly, they've got their hero ship here, this Axford, which can't really get a good light on, but 450s and then some good old defenses. Does this have anything fancy? No, just looks like a pretty standard Axford. So half and half fleet, half support, half frontline. Good stuff. Then finally, we're going to round out the fleets with Tuesdack. Tuesdack is totally running Task Force Ash, guys. I swear, it's Task Force Ash. It's 3 beam destroyers. Nothing to see here, folks. This battleship does not miss like most of its internals and also have a masquerade module. No, was not responsible for this on a really, really stupid night. No, these are not masqueraded as beam destroyers or anything. That would be foolish, right, guys? Yes. Chat, bring up the one time that the OSP did not push C point and Tuesdack did not get to feast freely on them. All right. Looks like Turbo is going to be pushing up towards the middle of the map. We see that Bloodhound going right down the center line here. That is going to be targeting Bell for the moment. Looks like they're going to swing their targeting. What are they going after here? Oh, they might have found Edge on the bottom of the map. Yep, the big britches down here are going to be exchanging a little bit of fire with these line ships shortly. These Axfords up here are going to be putting the hurt on. This is 3 Axfords targeting 1 liner. Turbo kind of needs to get out of here. Just drive forwards, get this ship going, because they're going to start taking a lot of damage very quickly once that 450 adds up. I don't know if Edge is quite in lock range yet. Looks like they're still a little bit shy of that 9-kilometer mark. I think 9.5 with a parallax is enough here unless there's jamming. There's that lock. That's going to be very accurate fire. Turbo rotates their fire, starts putting 450 AP down range. Not sure why it fired 1 shot and then just paused. These things are... what's that? Let's just check our module count here. 3 ammo elevator, 2 rapid fatal. That's why they seem to be firing a little slow. All right, so they're going to put some shots down range, but Edge is bow tanking and should be able to tank the better part of these. single raider and a dragonfly will be enough to take a strafe and dodge the better part of that. So ANS is favored on the front line currently with a 3v1 engagement there in the capitals. OSP does have some nasty surprise sucker punch in the form of this Torpcello. That said, this thing could also end up walking right into Tuesdack, who is the sucker punch on the ANS side waiting. Support fleets, OSP is favored with 3k of Moreline in the back. That said, these up here are going to get found out. This one is now on track. Early warning swings, but does not quite catch. Here comes these missiles. They are fishing for Pyrope in the backline here. She does have fighters on station. We will see if these are able to intercept or not. Whistler Flight is going to engage here, chewing them up as much as they can. 35mm Flechette will try and catch, but does not manage to. Cobra Flight is nearby. Do they get the intercept, or do we see Strike? That is going to be one impact, taking out 2 hangar banks, and that's going to cripple the Moreline for the moment. Can be recovered. These hangar banks, there is a series of restores somewhere. Complex plus large storage. There you go. So while these are very good strikes to sandbag the Moreline for the moment, they won't get the full kill on it. This last one might hit drive section. Let's find out. Yep, tanks into the drive there. Honestly, the best that could have came from this. These Sprinter Bombers are very good tech right now. We see a lot of these backline assets, specifically the Moreline. 3,000 points. It is a pinata waiting for missile flanks like this to go off. Tasty is just dumping every missile that they have, trying to get through these screening fighters. We see these new SSM-1 missiles. These are the cheap craft exclusive missiles, and they are apparently not doing anything. Ooh, those are going to be Heck-P. Oh, no, damn it, they stage wrong, or they run out of gas or something there. You can see some size 2s fishing for the capper. Oh, it does catch the hit there. Wow. Basic CIC right sniped there. Could have saved this maybe with the magazine down here to split damage, but no, instead gets the snipe there. That is going to be Corbeau missing their backline scout. All right, so good dive there. Whistler Flight does not appear to have anything currently to engage Tasty. Tasty's still throwing up missiles here. They've got a couple left in the bank they're just going to spend. This has crippled the carrier for the moment, as it's had to get its stuff back together, has to get its drive online, has to get the hangar banks. This does mean that Pyrope is entirely tied up in the backline while the frontline fight is going in favor of the ANS. Notice how they push forward here. We have got Bell on this side of the rock, and there's a Torpcello coming around the corner here. This thing is scouted, though. However, it's gonna be very dangerous if it gets within range. We see Bell starting to give some ground here, seeing if they can maybe make the distance enough that the torpedoes don't land. We're gonna see if Tuesdack is able to get into position as well. Tuesdack does have beam broadside almost ready. Yeah, I think Bell just got visual now and realized just what is around this corner. Visual range is about 2 kilometers or so, and they're right on that line. Yeah, this is going to be the oh shit moment. Beam. Bell and all chat here just having a bit of a moment as Ken says hello. We may see some torpedoes land here. Interrupt jammer is good, but Acello has a CR-75 on the nose here. Is going to be able to punch right through that comms jamming, especially with double radio amplifiers. Let's see this thing fly. Here comes the torpedoes. Yeah, the immediate panic call. All right. Here comes the beams as Tuesdack is going to open up, hold battle short on that buddy, and just let fly. We'll see if they can disable some of the ship. Not enough fast enough, apparently. Here comes the Torps. There's going to be a bunch of Sarissa fire off of something or other. Jackal Flight engages as well, trying to act as intercept on some of these missiles and such. Bell getting hammered by torpedoes here, just complete gut shot into that Axford. Same time, though, there's going to be a bit of an overcommit onto the one. Needs to split their fire onto the second. They've overshot this one. There we go. There's the second fire. Tuesdack opens up with a broadside, finally getting the beams on target. B-short flicked, and that is going to cook the Acello. Still, not before it got some very good purchase. This ship here is going to have a heavily damaged drive section, reactor going critical. Honestly, I think that this is still a trade in favor of the ANS. They cleaned up a very expensive Sucker Punch asset that did not quite get the double kill that it wanted. That's a lot of damage. We're going to see this thing likely go reactor crit here unless they do a scram. Oops, scram has been ordered. Okay, is this going to be a fuel line fire? Come on, cursor. That's reactor overload. That'll be fixed. Magazine will be fixed. All right. Yeah, Bell with the panic call there to their beam support player saying, please help me, dear God. Tuesdack being, I got you, buddy. Holds down battle short with the beams and will remove the torpedo truck. All right. Got some more hybrid missiles coming at you. This is the response kind of, well, a little bit later. Edge was able to plot and fire these, but still, it's been handled, so a bit of a wasted there, but at the same time, they sent it just to make sure. We're going to see some aggression here going towards the C point side. No beam destroyers or such in position quite yet. Tasty is trying to get into arc, but they're just a little bit slow on this. C-Cap may go through here, may not. We'll see if they're able to get it. Come on, Tasty, fire that beam, hold that B short. See, contest at the last possible second, and they do land the beam on target. That will gut the front of the ship, rendering this thing combat incapable. Very narrow save on the seaside there, as Tasty just barely manages to drift this wounded capper back onto the point there. All right, Corbo is going to lose one of their multi-mission tugs. Bell is still alive despite all of the damage. They have one restore, but are getting 450 at this time. Turbo has been crippled heavily. I think they took a bad gunfight or maybe got hit by Edge. Looks mostly like this was just gun damage, as those 3 Axers probably bared down while we were watching the backline dive. Speaking of backline diving, we're going to see Tasty coming around the outside here towards the D-point side, seeing if they can fish anyone. They're pushing up with one of their beam destroyers. This is the Whiplash destroyer tech that Tasty likes to run. Allows them to kind of get up to places that you wouldn't expect a beam destroyer to be. They move a lot faster than you would think with that Whiplash. All right, that's a reactor bloom down below that is going to, I think, avoid stripping the armor on the battleship. Still, looks like it catches the Axford here. So this Axford that was previously surviving is now armor stripped and very vulnerable to light guns on OSP side. That said, they don't have the most. Still, monitors could come around and engage. They are currently rotating towards the frontline area, seeing if they can put down some suppressive fire. Edge, very good on the bottom of the map here, just providing offset pressure, allowing the OSP to, well, not really push up too far without risking getting flanked here. You'll see some more missiles coming into the backline. They are fishing for that carrier. Pyrope has still not moved. This is a bit of a problem. We see that the hangar banks have once again gone down. She's trying to restore stuff, but again, needing to get this CIC online and needing to get the magazine, this thing's going to have half capacity. That carrier has been backline dove by these corvettes very early on, kept it crippled, and now we're going to see some more missiles headed towards them. I don't know if these HECPs are going to land or not. There is fighters on station, but again, Pyrope just sitting in this position, gets compromised, unfortunately remains there, and is now going to get fished once more. Back on the front line, we're going to see the monitors have taken a turn on the front. A little bit of plasma going towards Edge. Edge doing a very good job. Kind of the benefit of hero shipping like this is that you can pay all of your attention onto just one hull. You can keep this thing dodging pretty well, manage your bow tank. You not have to worry about things. Just call for fire support with this missile break when you need it. I really like this fleet. It's just a little bit awkward to fit into some comps, so good to see that. OSP loses 6k early. It's not necessarily a 6k loss, but it is definitely a setback. Pyrope can still get half of her craft out using these hangar banks here, but the loss of the Isekai, oh, it's not an Isekai truck, that's the torpedo liner. This is the Torpcello instead. They did manage to cripple one ship and destroy another one, so to their credit, they did a decent-ish trade, but still, the unfortunate part is that they didn't have follow-up with the 450 to really capitalize on a wounded Axford like this. This thing got hit in the drive section and was immobilized. Very vulnerable target, just could not get shot, unfortunately, due to angling. Currently, Edge is soloing the front line here, doing their best to just dodge dance around. They've got some AMMs out. Let's see, did those hybrids land? Hard to say. I think they got intercepted, given we don't see any significant damage here. Secondary batteries down here are going to catch this corvette on the flanks. This is the danger of still the 100 mil secondaries on these liners. Very common to see 450 liner pair with the T20 secondaries. They are fully buffed up by the rapid cradles and ammo elevators, making them incredibly lethal to small craft within 7 kilometers. All right, take a deep breath. Whoo! Anyways, Tasty has got a beam destroyer over here. They're going to be looking to pick off this shuttle. This shuttle is trying to get a Ruddle launch out. Let's see if it goes or not. This does not have any point defense, but it might not matter. Rocket's going to swing and a miss on that. Actually, 2 of them going to land, but does not hit the beam, just kind of splashes across the hull. That will kill off the defender of the D-point here. OSP has a cap advantage at this current time, but ANS looking much better in the fleet situation. OSP down 1 fleet effectively as Canada is reduced to a singular Ruddle on the outside of the map, looking towards C-point side here. More missiles come out here from Microsoft Edgelord in the back, once again trying to fish for that carrier. Pyrope has just been drives down pretty much this whole game and just not moved. She needs to get out of here. This is one of the common errors we see with backline fleets. Once you get jumped like this, they know your location. You have to rebase. Common areas such as over here, or possibly even going down on the map to, like, say, this area is possible. All right. They're looking for the beam destroyer on the D side here. We're going to see these 415 liners rotating a little bit for it. Bloodhound does not spot currently. These guys are a little bit rolled funny, but that's just how liners kind of behave. This one is heavily damaged. See that structure break as well. This is a new thing on Test Branch. Liner's structure health bar has been reduced from 4,000 to 3,000. So they already kind of broke fast. They break really fast now. Gotta watch out for that. This 450, once you get structure broken, that will kill you. Same with beams and even just honestly anything once a structure broken liner. Oh, yep, there's the fuel run out. That was what happened before as well. Back to the idea as I bounce 5 of them off at once and talk incredibly fast. Structure broken liners die really, really quickly. A liner can tank a whole lot until that point, as it has a lot of components that can soak damage, but if you get some structure break raise, like the missiles like this throw out, just hitting that structure box, nothing else, these things will take a lot of damage from incoming fire. Bell pokes out a little bit here, is kind of hesitant because they're reduced down to singular ship. They're going to try and pick some shots into these monitors. Small target, long range, lock has been established. 450 HE will land on this thing, but a couple of those shots are going to go wide. Just very thin target profile against ship that's kind of firing at the edge of its operational range there. Yeah, that's right. Actually, that one was a little closer than expected. That's more towards the 8-kilometer mark. This one has had the front sandblasted off of it. Looking very good there. All right. Currently, it's ANS's game to lose. OSP does sit on a cap advantage, but ANS should be able to recognize sooner or later that they can push up. Tasty's trying to develop the backline here and is maybe looking to get this beam destroyer to pick off some fighters or stuff here. They have to worry about the possible rotation of these liners, as again, liners very fast in one axis of motion, that's forwards and backwards with their main thrusters. Could see these things rotate over, unleash a full broadside into that destroyer, and then just the D side is basically empty. Yep, gonna see some strike here as Tasty tried to walk onto target, is instead gonna get cleaned up handily there. Was attempting to try and threaten pyro-ups more. Now she finally kicks her thrusters on and is going to start moving leisurely 15 meters a second. Can't go the fastest with the power drive, but is going to try and rebase though. I don't know about this one. ANS needs to get onto the A point sooner rather than later, but most OSP tonnage is currently watching it. Looks like in the backline, Corpo does have their multi-mission tug, trying to fish for anything that they can find back here, maybe the missile brick or other cappers. Tasty decides to develop the E-point side since all of the OSP frontline has moved over.
Listen here, cat boy.
Seb Bofors fan, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. We're on Test Branch. All right. Tasty is avoiding capping the point here, instead trying to find that Moorline, and I believe we'll see it in a second. A little bit of a weirdness going on. Is this thing MCON or something? Oh, it is radars off. Okay, that's why. Tasty, you gotta get your radars on, bud. Make sure you can see the enemy. This thing does have enough power to run all of that, or it should anyways. Moorline is right here. Now it is locked. There we go. That would be the beam fire order issued. But exactly like I said, here's Turbo doing the quick rotation. T-20 secondaries firing. They've got 450 currently tasked with AP rounds onto Edge. Edge taking basically no damage, just a lucky shot snipes off the backside interrupt jammer. Occasionally prone to happen with some of the weird hit angles and the overpen tendency of 450 AP on these thinner parts of the hull. We'll see if Tasty does get the beam here. That's going to be big. Pyrope is out of the game. Beam land structure break is happening, and bang. That'll do it. Pyrope, unfortunately, just not able to have a bit of a game here. Just ends up stuck static in one location. Tasty with a good backline dive, that Corvette pair, and then follows it up with a beam destroyer push using the Whiplash. Honestly, kind of a fan of this as a tech choice. It's a little bit weird, but having a cap fleet with the two of these regular-looking beam destroyers, these got Dragonfly to turn around. Also, holy shit, are these thruster damaged? See this one as well. Yep, also Dragonflies. Yeah, backline, we're going to see this thing cleaned up shortly. It does burn out its beam here. 450s will rotate and kill that. Should see them doing so right now. Yep. Fortunately, didn't identify the threat quite right. Probably thought it was just another sprinter capper or something. I don't believe that this team had intel. They just fire off the gun there. Likely thought sprinter capper moved towards D point. That destroyer hangs back here. Instead, Tasty decides to just send it and collects. OSP currently down about 6,000 points. ANS loses some assets. 1.5k on this Axford here, and then just a collection of these Capper Corvettes around the map that all went down. This one's going to go critical in about a minute or so. Drive fire there. All right. Tasty steps onto the E point. There is a empty shuttle that will contest this briefly, and I believe that Corbo will be able to engage this. They are looking kind of damaged right now. Still has to get this C-30 and missile launcher firing. They do not have any more missiles. Looks like they expended their payload earlier on. So they will still be able to get a gunfight going here. Gunfight should be favored for the multi-mission tug. Casing whoever that is, well played. Unfortunately, I can't see who the track numbers are, but yeah. It's really on Turbo right now to get them back in the game. That is correct. Turbo is 450 liners, and they can try and get a favorable fight. They've plinked away at Edge back here, but Edge has done a very good job of just appearing threatening without putting on too much pressure. They just occupied this lower half of the map, limiting rotation angles and such, being a nasty thorn on the side, making it so you don't really want to take a frontline sustained fight here because you are getting offset, tracked, and fired on. So we're going to see Corbo attempting to get some fire in here. The ship is missing its antenna, which is one of the more overlooked things. If you turn off the other mode, barely ever see that. So it will rely on Allies' tracks. It's going to be a bit of a wash here. I think Edge just is largely good. There's that reactor bloom up there. All right, E-point fight continuing over here. Going to see that this Corvette is locked up. It's trying to RPF down this ship, the Patch Plus. It's pretty wounded, but still that repair team is going to keep this thing alive. RPF kind of sucks at killing shuttles in a weird way. You're really trying to kill the damage control team because you're not able to break these components, even something fragile like the Sun Drive. Now we're going to see Grape Shot flying into this thing. That will take out the magazine here. This is an error that people keep making, and I keep calling them out on. You can't have the magazine in the bottom slot like this anymore. It's far too vulnerable. Want to get your aux steering into that slot, put this magazine up here, and then have your rapid up front. Or small locker, depending, because that way your magazine, it still splits damage, but it's a smaller target. Actually, magazine could go in either compartment 3 or 4. It's probably fine either way. Anyways, little question from stream chat there. Is your stream hijackable for bug testing sometime next week? I have a bit of time next week that we could do some test stuff on there, Firebird, so keep an eye out for that. We do try and figure out, hey, is this a bug or is this an intended feature? Or is this just like a weird case of like something behaving very unusually in a specific circumstance? Neb is, as always, a early access game and is going to be launched when it is ready. Until then, consider that it is in development. Stuff will break, there will be weirdness, there will be changes. I keep saying everything is more or less subject to change because sometimes you do just need to mix things up a little bit and change around some properties to make sure that things work. All right, Can is out of the game. Looks like their last shuttle tried to go for C-Point and got cleaned up by that beam destroyer back here. C-Point will remain in the hands of the ANS. OSP looks pretty good for the cap score, but ANS is going to catch up real quick with that 4 cap. OSP currently holding the D-Point, and unless they get the E-Point here pretty soon, they're going to be really on the ropes. This Tug here needs to swap over to firing HE round. Now it is. It was firing Grape earlier. Should be able to take out this Capper Corvette. There you go. E-Cap going underway. Now we see this thing has been disarmed once more. Magazine goes down here. Is not able to contest. Shaft box as well is inoperative, so it is not considered as being armed. E-Point cap might go through here. If OSP can hang on, they might clutch out this game just barely on a 2 cap. ANS is looking favored for the front line, and they're starting to push up aggressively. Two-Stack probably can get away with full sending it at this point. If they just put that battleship nose onto those liners and then push, they will probably be able to clean up everything on the map with those beams. Still very healthy battleship at this stage of the game. Two-Stack wisely playing the Sucker Punch reserve role here on the ANS side. I see some missile stage out there. Not sure if they got any good purchase. Looks like maybe the guns get trimmed out here on the monitors. Corbo is managing to push up here and make Edge a little bit hesitant to take this fight. Edge trying to bow tank these, see if they can avoid the better part of the plasma, but does get exposed to the 450 broadside here. See that belly gun taking a lot of damage. Topside has been sandblasted off. Front thrusters are wounded, which means that this thing will not retreat very fast. See it currently losing its acceleration. Needs to just kind of drive course like one of these other directions. Use your strafing thrusters, not your front ones. All right. Bell is advancing as well, has got their primary and secondary batteries tasked onto this monitor. This thing will catch it in the broadside. I'm just going to go soon, I guess, says Bell. Lovely. Thanks, Bell. Oh, boy. All right, Tasty is going to keep the E-Point here briefly. Aux steering and a reinforced drive means this thing is actually surprisingly hard to kill. Corbo trying to jam out this beam destroyer, which has rotated down from, looks like the... Where was this? This was overwatching A-Point. Going to be moving towards the beam destroyer. I don't believe that this multi-mission tug is on track, but it's going to last until the jammer burns out. We'll see how that goes. Two-Stack making their way through the middle of the map here. Going to be trying to find these liners. Liners as well, kind of in pursuit here of Microsoft Edgelord. That 4 cap is rapidly making ANS catch up to OSP. OSP only ahead by about 140 odd points at this time. Still seeing Corbo going for the B point cap here. Does Edge have any more missiles left? They have 2 Thunderstrucks left. Potentially can get a cripple on this ship here before it gets on the cap point. Edge doing their best with their shots here to try and take out that monitor before it touches the cap. Despite the ANS's frontline advantage, OSP is still in this game as they have the opportunity to cap either the C point or the E point or the B point. A point pretty secured by that beam battleship. We'll see if they have any fast movers able to get towards seaside. I don't believe that they do anymore. They came out with a very light hull count for the normal OSP. Hey, I've got a million shuttles everywhere playstyle. Corbo continues to just jam on the bottom of the map. This thing's got to be approaching its battlefront limit as it's been firing nonstop, keeping that beam destroyer hidden, or keeping hidden from that beam destroyer, rather. Corbo going to be out here. Here comes these two Thunderstrucks. We'll see if these end up landing or not. EO primary with the Axe secondary Hekpi. If this gets a nose shot onto this house, actually, it might be better to get the side shot. We will see. Hekpi is going to... Looks like one of them gets popped there by something or other. Not sure what hit it. Here comes the Hekpi, right on target. Crunch into the front of this ship. Honestly, the worst hit they could have actually gotten for this. It does defang the ship, but it does not stop it. We're looking for that drive or that CIC. Corbo should be able to drift this thing onto the point and survive here. Edge will try and take it down, but at the same time, the 450 was not... Oh, there's a beam suddenly. Tasty rotates over the top of the rock, quickly rotates from seaside to clean this up. This is structure broken and will die very quickly. Hold that beam down, and there goes the drive. CIC should follow in a second once it gets tapped. Come on, hit that thing. There goes the drive section, and that is dead, done, and dusted. B point is protected. Gotta give crazy old Tasty credit here. Those beam destroyer plays have been really making a lot of a difference here. Beams are quite powerful. Now we're going to see Turbo comes around the wrong angle, and we're going to see Tusak locks on. There you go. OSP throws in the towel, realizing that the beams are too much. GG, well played to the players here. Still very close game despite some of the earlier losses from OSP. They got a lot of their stuff taken out quickly there, but ANS able to hold on. Still, OSP pulls it to 800 points on the board. ANS only able to catch up in the last quarter of the game there. All right. Crazy Horse Tasty? Yeah, might be with that. All right, Bell loses one of their Axfords early. Other one pulls a respectable 16k. Edge doing a very good job at the bottom of the map, presenting a big threat with that Axford here. Has got some very nice missileering. 13.5k on this. I love these little half and half fleets, just versatility. You can see like a hero Axford, like you see in Redwood, backed up by rail support, can be backed up by missile support. Just nice example of how you mix your fleets up. Tasty coming in with some clutch beam destroyer plays here. We saw the one that pushed across the map. Where was it? It was this one, I believe, collected the kill on the Moorline. Yes, it did. A couple of the cappers did their jobs. That Sprinter Bomber pair, I'm not sure which ones they were. These things was it? One of them got 500. The other one, I don't know if I see on the board here. Was it you? No, Trout and Cow. No. Voter and Brit, and then... Which one was the other? There was two of them at least, right? Ah, here it is. This one pulls only 2k, but the other one, 5k. Damage numbers deceptive. They crippled Pyrope in the early game. Very good stuff there. Tuesdack with the Surprise Deception Task Force Ash Sucker Punch. This beam battleship came out and played very well. Played that kind of reserve role. We see why beams are so strong on the ANS side. The support cappers do their jobs there. Could be split off in the late game to control points. Han comes in with, I want to say, one of the new starter fleets. Torpcello does get a very good jump, but walked into the wrong neighborhood with the amount of beams that immediately counteracted it. Otherwise, Bell would have just been removed from the game there. Corbo comes in with the kind of keep him honest half cap, or half monitor ball, half cap like support play. It's kind of a checkbox fleet where you cover the monitors like C90 to deflect sprinters in the large swarm capacity. Also has these multi-mission tugs and early warnings, so that way they can keep awareness up. Lastly, we had Pyrope, who unfortunately just never really got a chance to do much this game. She did manage to get some light strikeout, but we see the difference of the rockets on Test Branch. Those Piranha rockets missed a lot of the cappers they'd normally remove. Turbo makes up the front line, tries to pull some damage, but just unfortunately outmatched against those Axfords. Had to fight a lot of fleets there. I've been NekoboyBlue, and I will see you all in the next one. Meow meow.